And just like that, we're already back. Haha, hello again. Jolly here for, I don't know, maybe not much longer. I've got Tiger with me in the booth as color. And I know, Tiger, you were talking about how you don't have a ton of familiarity, right, with either of these teams. What can you tell us about what you learned, though, about CCG in particular from that game one?
Well, I definitely learned that we can expect early game aggression, going for the 5-man level 1 invade, going for double opponent buff steals in the first clear. I think particularly Kitsuo was super aggressive, but they were able to adapt throughout the game because I think that what we saw from Pac was that they did a really good job of losing gracefully until they found an opportunity to strike. And that's how they got themselves a massive lead through the mid game. They were able to get multiple situations where they collapsed, where CCG was trying to be the aggressors, but it was just good responses all around from Pac. But at the end of the day, CCG was able to start to come together. They were able to find their winning angles, and they were able to utilize the strengths of their draft to the highest degree, which is what made the difference between winning and losing. So I think that this time around, maybe could use a slight adjustment while we do see Pac going back to the blue side. I did think that the picks of the Zac and the Gragas kind of were thematically countered by the already picked Poppy and Trundle. So if they can patch that up, then maybe they can give themselves better win conditions where if they get a similar gold lead, then they'll be able to capitalize off of it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I'd kind of mentioned before the game started, right? Was there's a lot of tankiness, there's a lot of late game, but is the damage there to really allow them to push into the late game? And I guarantee, I know it, right? Granted, Kindred and Zeri, there's a lot of damage there, but if maybe the mid laner hadn't instead of been like a Gragas, hadn't instead been somebody that continue these engages, even if he was set back in the early parts of the game, it would have potentially been enough to prevent that Trundle from being able to, frontline hardcore. I also have to, I got to give props to D-Troll because towards the end of the game there, I think there was the recognizance of, hey, we have to die. One of us has to die. Two of us have to die, right? And so he would go in really aggressively. He would hop in. He would throw out his dreadline to start out the fight, right? He would throw out his ultimate to at least get a lockdown. And then generally before the ultimate even hits, right, he was going down. But it didn't matter because all that mattered was the focus on that frontliner. And it let the backside with all that damage I was talking about get to stack up. So radar popping off. If I don't see, any respect bans coming through out of Packwatch as well, that's going to be something that I think we need to see at this point. I don't even necessarily know where they would do it. Maybe get the Ari off, but there's so much versatility in the mid lane right now that I don't know if that's the way they want to go.
Well, they definitely banned out Kitsuo pretty heavily in the first game. We'll have to see if they stick with that. I think Kitsuo was plenty happy to play the Trundle. If there's a person like that that just has such a deep champion pool that you keep going down the list, still worth banning, still worth banning, still worth banning, and you get past all of your bans and you're still naming champions that are still worth banning, maybe you should consider not banning as many champions against that person because it's just going to be good anyway.
Right? And it was 3 in the first phase and then still another one in the second phase. I think out of the 5, out of the 5, we literally got 4, and the first 4 were into Kitsuo, and then Kitsuo comes out and is like, cool, Trundle, and that's one of the main things I said at the very beginning. Kitsuo has a massive champion pool. You're not going to want to focus him out, and what do we see here? Literally the exact same 3 bans. It's the Lee Sin, it's the Ivern, it's the Vi. Guys, he has way more champions than that he's incredible with.
Are we going towards a salty run back, Jolly?
Yeah, right. We might be. That's what it's looking like. It's the same bans as well from the side of CCG. So far, just respect picks, but instantly it is a change for CCG. They say, hey, all right, you know what? We got the confidence. We want a little bit more of ability to be aggressive. So the rocket jump will help with that. And then you've got the Lulu as well, who's really just going to guarantee, that the Zeri maybe not able to get out. A Yumi is a pretty good response to the aggression that we saw from CCG, though.
Definitely looking more scaling focused already in the bot lane. And I think that there's some flexibility with the Tristana still towards the solo lanes, but I'm expecting that we're going to see it in the bot lane just based off of the order that we've seen the picks in thus far. And I think that with the way that Pac played out the bot lane in the last game, it makes sense that they'd go back to this area. They're not just going to abandon their entire game plan just because they ended up falling off and losing at the end after getting a big lead in game number 1. But they do switch some things up here. They're going to go with the Yuumi, going to try to have all that added security on the Zeri, and picking up the Wukong as well, one of the strongest setup junglers, where you can still get some damage off, but this time not going to need to be so far ahead.
Yeah, not that it made much of a difference, right? Kind of our expectations of the draft in game number 1 was, all right, CCG, we're looking at the early game. Pack, we're looking at the late game. Pack hyper accelerated themselves to the late game, and it didn't matter, because one of the things I was talking about before the game started here was, hey, the meta means that you can really do well with anything and anyone. Yes, compositions matter, but it's less about like the composition and more about the win conditions that you have selected and locked in, and your ability to fall back. Remember, I mentioned in the middle of the game, I was like, all right, their initial win con might have gone out the window, but hopefully they have a plan B. And clearly they did. And that was to send those frontliners in, allow as much damage as possible. And it was finding the picks. And Ahri was very capable of doing that. Radar in the mid lane, having the Spirit Rush and having the additional mobility. So already we're looking at another really mobile selection here from CCG. And on the other side, Pack is sort of mirroring that, right? I like the Wukong as a pick. That's something that we saw a lot from the other CCG team, is just locking that Wukong over and over, and it allows for some early pressure as well in lane, while CCG just messes with us. And so we get it, Rock Boom, you have a lot of champions, we get it.
Well, Kha'Zix's not banned this time around, but Trundle's still available as well, so it's going to be the same top duo as last game, top jungle being the Poppy and the Trundle. Still going to get a lot of value out of the Trundle, going to be able to steal away the Wukong stats this time around. But I think that Pack are going to be able to recognize from last game that you don't want to play a bunch of tanks into the Trundle, into the Poppy. So this time around, going to look for some more damage carries on the back half of the draft.
Ooh. Okay, yeah. Cat's going to do the same. Cat also has all the champs, guys. I like the Olaf as the hover here. I think having something like the Ragnarok would have been really helpful in the previous game. If you can get, I mean, Radar's obviously not going to be looking for it, but if you're moving forward really quickly on something like this, trying to get some of these big abilities out onto Big Bear in that top lane is going to be very helpful. Julius now in the mid has gone with the LeBlanc, so it's the opportunity once more for counter pick ability here from CCG, and there's a lot of options. Yes, all right, I'm happy. I don't even care about matchups. I love Vex. Vex is one of my very favorite champions. And when we're talking about like sticking to players, when we're talking about, oh, Radar's using the Spirit Rush to continue the engage, or using the Charm, having that Shadow Surge and being able to say, all right, I'm over here, now I'm over here, oh, I got the kill, now I'm over here, I got the kill. Even if Pack is separated once again, there is the chance that Radar can be all over the place, and I expect really good performance from this guy.
Radar doing a good job of getting back on a champion that very similar in feel to what worked out well last game. Of course, carrying pretty hard on the Ahri in the later stages, able to find a triple and a quadra. And this time around, going to the Vex, going to have a reset in a similar fashion, going to have some CC, but as well as those things, you're going to also see that it is a lane matchup counter into the LeBlanc. So it's not just a situation where we're happy to see Vex for the sake of Vex. We are happy to see Vex because it's into a bunch of dashes. You got a Zeri, you got a LeBlanc, you got even Yuumi having a dash in addition to the 2 dashes that Wukong has. Going to be able to stack up the passive a whole lot here, and Radar going to look to mirror the game 1 performance and try to find some aggression. But I do think that the way that the draft played out is telling me that the top side is going to be a lot more of the focus in the early stages of the game. The Olaf, LeBlanc being the solo laners here for the side of Pack, and the Poppy Vex going to be here for CCG. I think that those are going to be the main areas of focus on the map. Perhaps we'll see the junglers going for ganks mid into trying to bring their mid laners towards the top lane.
I really liked the way that Kitsuo did it in the last game, which was the early part of the game, pretty much sacrifice all of his own jungle, of course, after invading the enemy jungle and taking quite a few of the raptors and going for that red buff. Kitsuo just kind of had a little path mid, bot, go back into the jungle, circle back down around to mid and bot, and continue the invades. And of course, that is what set Kitsuo behind. All right, I gotta call it out. That is what actually started to feed Julius in the previous game, allowing them to get 4 kills right off the bat. Again, that really didn't matter. Kitsuo's presence made such a huge difference. So I like the Trundle run back. We got a lot of blues, pinks, and purples on the side of CCG. We'll see if that cohesion comes through on the Rift. We are going to send it to, I keep hitting my microphone. I'm so excited. We're going to send it to a really quick break. And hopefully, if you're a CCG fan, we're going to see this end in 2. If not, we are going to go to a game 3 if Pac manages to take this one. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is, of course, Aegis Champion League week number 3. Don't go anywhere. And we're right in game. No hesitation, no stalling, and no wasted time here from us as we see that beautiful split view here. The production has given us. We see where the junglers are going to head, and particularly the Vex. I like how we have a hover on that. Thank you so much for that.
Definitely gonna be a little bit less aggressive on the first of the plays here, just trying to make sure no funny business is occurring with a little bit of a half stack towards the bot side from Pac. But this time around, going to just be the 5-point coming out from CCG. They hold the 1-0 lead, so they're going to try to play this game out smoothly, try to make sure that they don't fall behind as they did in game number 1. But also, I think that both teams have done a good job of adapting their drafts. Particularly, Pac had a lot of ways to go up in their strengths. I think that adding the Yuumi is going to have value over the Braum. Braum was a response to Nautilus, so it was like, that's fair, but Yuumi does a lot more for Zeri in the long run. But then switching up their solo lanes, particularly onto carries, that really changes the dynamic. I think CCG responded well to it, but we should be in for another good game here in game number 2.
Oh, yeah, you got a Yuumi, but you can still take a lot of damage there, Julius. You gotta be careful. Yeah, this is the expectation of like having this really aggressive bottom lane and very likely mid lane as well. That's pretty standard, right? And part of that is that Kitsuo, we saw even on a lot of these ganks, was coming up behind the tower, right? Not even necessarily just for the kill, but the presence of having a jungle show up, the presence of a 2v3 is generally enough to send someone back, especially when you have to worry about being polymorphed and having the Yuumi stuck to you, right? It's not another body that's going to be there to absorb damage like the Braum might have been on the front side. It's just going to be a big focus onto this Zeri to start things out. And like I said, no surprise, priority and pressure for both bottom and mid is heavily in favor of CCG.
We do see a potential 3-camp top gank being set up for Kitsuo.
Let's see, there it is. There's the pillar. The ghost comes out. The flash comes out on top of it. Is going to be enough. Topo has to flash forward too. And Big Bear is going to go down. It's the auto from Kitsuo. Lots of summoners down. Topo still has his though.
Good thing that the club had such a long reach for Kitsuo. Was right. Almost able to escape there, Big Bear was. But unfortunately for him, allowed the pillar to slow him down, allowed himself to be slowed for the duration of most of that. But now Juwon going to be spotted out on the invade as well. Flashes, but is still in a pretty big danger. Have a long time to wait if an execute is to come through, and actually will just likely die to the Tristana damage.
Rock Boom! Rock Boom gets the kill. The pillar pushes him back. Kitsuo says, "Don't worry, Rock Boom, I got you." Rock Boom on, literally the other side of this half of the river, and Rock Boom's like, "Cool, excellent, thank you." A really good start to CCG. So if we know CCG can play from like 16k behind, we can imagine how well they do when they're ahead. There's a rocket jump, but making the fight happen here, Julius. D-Trill's not going to be able to get in on this one, force the polymorph down, get the shield here onto Rock Boom, and in fact, D-Trill just has to walk away, but it's enough damage, and it's going to force the recall back, as well as get the flash here out of Ket.
Nice trade there coming through from Rock Boom. Going to be able to take out the exhaust and the ghost. But I think that Pack is going to be able to come back and be just fine for the time being. Ghost was expended in that play for Rock Boom. No flashes down just yet, so we'll have to see if the junglers end up going towards that direction. We do see another invade coming out from Kitsuo, ever on the invade from the Trundle. To be able to steal away some chickens here. And Duan was punished for trying to go for an invade of his own, so right now things looking up, particularly in that jungle role, but Rock Boom with a pretty big CS advantage as well.
And has the red buff as well now. So Rock Boom is sitting really pretty. Gonna take a tower shot there. Bit of a cheeky play coming out of them. That's going to allow for the reset, though, with a lot of pressure on the backside of this. Should give enough time for Julius to pretty much catch up in CS. But as we look at the cold, those are stacking up. Oh, no way. It lands at the last millisecond, so it doesn't actually stop that recall from coming through. Just barely able to get back. And some solid damage still that is going here by Radar. The teleport has been used. Imply still has their teleport available. But it's relatively even across the board, right? As we're looking just at the numbers, whether we're seeing CS, whether we're seeing, the pressure everywhere. The big difference, of course, is going to be in that gold, which is getting close to a 2K lead for CCG.
And with the resets coming through for both of the members that picked up kills, we see Kitsuo already on the Sheen. A little bit surprising to me that we see a jungler not just go straight towards tier 2 boots, but just opting for more damage, looking for potential to get some kills on some more invades. Not too concerned about how quick the clear is, because if you're clearing the enemy jungle, then that means that you're going to be getting the more gold anyways.
That's, kind of what I was talking about with the last game where Kitsuo just spent most of the time invading. What a flash. Shadow Surge is down. Uh-oh, it's a scary situation here. There's still a flash available for Radar, but they don't even need to do that. The rest of the team for CCG is here on the bottom side, or is at the Dragon. So Pack is aware, you know what? While it seemed like a good play, it ended up just being the flash down on Imply.
Going to be the Drake taken here by CCG. They're going to be able to continue stacking up their advantages, and we'll see if they're going to be able to get even further as they're looking to find a play bot.
Finding one. There's the polymorph. That's going to prevent a lot of damage. And Rock Boom is taking almost none themselves. The ignite comes through. The flash and the second rocket jump is enough for Rock Boom to be able to get the kill, get the heck out of dodge. And it's a heal that also came out from Ket there. Just a little bit too late to keep the ADC alive.
Going to be able to find another kill, and crucially so, because without that kill, wouldn't have been able to get the reset on the jump and would have been stuck under tower. Nicely done. And we have Kitsuo on the play once again.
They're past the tower. This is how confident this team is playing right now. CCG is on Big Bear. Duwon goes in, but is way too squishy. Kitsuo and Topo are like, thank you for the opportunity to potentially get a double kill. In the meantime, it's going to send both of those members back. Zeri is going to find the shutdown here onto Rock Boom. Detro trying to get out of here. No, it's a double kill pickup there. What a play coming out of the bottom lane. Can we get a replay of that entire bottom lane fight?
I think we might need multiple replays coming through here with
right?
all of the fighting back and forth that we've had. But Julius able to get the best out of it once again. Somehow Julius keeps on finding ways to get the advantages in the bot lane. 2-1-0 now on the Zeri, kind of being the bastion of hope that Pack has. Down 2.5k gold in general, but bot lane starting to catch up.
Yeah, starting to catch up. It's still, behind. You're looking at just over a 10 CS differential, but let's take a quick look. I think we are ready for that bot lane replay. I want to see exactly what happened here, so go ahead and take it, Tiger.
Yep, we got the exhaust right on the Rock Boom. No jump available, so Julius able to just finish off the kill right away. And Detro on the wrong side of the map. We saw at the beginning of that play that it was actually started off by the bot duo of CCG, who were level 6 to the level 5 of Pack's bot lane, but it just didn't matter because they weren't able to get out their big spells. No way to save Rock Boom, and now we've got another fight in
final
the
chapter. The final chapter does come now. It's a lot of damage onto Detro, who has to get out of here. No flash available. The ghost was used here for Rock Boom to be able to get a hit, and oh no, it ended up working out quite poorly there for Rock Boom. The ultimate not getting the kill, but shoving back the members of Pack and keeping them alive.
That was fantastic movement by Rockboom, able to just weave back and forth, dodging out multiple Qs from the Zeri. Now looking to get aggressive onto Duan. It is the 2v2.
And it's a lot of damage here onto Duan. The Cyclone comes out. Detro's going to be able to pick up the kill, but they should fall here. That means Rockboom has a chance, still has the reset on that jump, but you gotta be really careful. You have to save it to get out if you're planning to go under tower range. Rockboom's okay with that one, and at the end of the day, Detro says, hey, I'm a support. I'm all right with that. We do have the rocket jump available. Let's see if Imply can get any movement on this. Rockboom trying to get into a good position to use that. They managed to dodge out on some of the damage that comes through, but Julius finds yet another kill, and that's going to put both of these bottom laners at 3 apiece.
Really good patience there by Imply, able to walk forward, wait out the jump, not going to try to find the kill straight under the alcove, and that means that there's no real way to counter that for Rockboom. Ends up getting killed off, and it's a 2-for-1 in the bot play for Pack. They'll be happy with that, although they probably lost out on the gold exchange because CCG was getting aggressive in the meantime towards the mid-tier 1, able to take 4 of the plates away. And with the second Drake coming up in just a minute, I'd imagine that we're on the horizon for some more fighting back and forth.
We better get more fighting. That's my job. Play by play. Just make it okay. I was gonna say make it all fighting. Don't make it all fighting. I'm gonna lose my voice. I can't have that. I've casted like 4 or 5 different games in the last 3 days, so I'm straining a little bit. It's hard to keep the excitement down though when CCG is doing this well. And one of the biggest things that I'm going to keep touching on is how much confidence this team has. It really shows up in their playstyle. Rockboom trying to get as much damage down will likely take 1 shot here. There is the Buster again. There's the rocket jump. The final chapter comes out, but it's not enough to slow down at Detro. And in fact, Detro has to actually use the wild growth on themselves, but they're able to turn this around because Wukong shows up and Duwan is going to go down. They want to continue the fight, seeing if the Shadow Surge can reach. Okay, the Shadow, you got predictive. Hello, wait. You can't just throw where they are. You got to throw where they're being.
Well, a good dodge at the end of the day by Julius to save from 2 more kills going down, but the bot tier 1 getting pretty low. Almost was able to turn it around. Top of it to try to find Big Bear.
And it's going to be a lot of damage. It should be an easy pickup there for Topo. Does find the flash, and that is both summoners as well out for Pack. That means CCG is going to find themselves here the first tower of the game. And in the meantime, Kitsuo is going to find the second dragon of the game, both of them being picked up by CCG. And now we're looking at less than 12 minutes in, and we are looking at a 5.5K gold lead. That is actually massive at this point in the game for CCG.
Solo kill, first tower, second Drake, all sounds good to me. I mean, things just coming up, CCG favored back and forth. Of course, the early game last time around wasn't able to go so successful, so we've seen comebacks in this series already, so don't get too comfortable with the lead just yet, but things going well. 5.5K gold lead, and Julius might be caught out here as well.
Julius is definitely caught out here. We'll see if they can actually navigate through this. It's a flash away, and yeah, they managed to escape from some of the damage here from Radar, and they also managed to navigate around the pillar. So you know what? I thought Julius was kind of done for there, and they managed to sneak their way out. This is the player that you got to be worried about if you are a fan of CCG and looking for them to close things out, because really good positioning, really good damage from Julius. Duwan will be able to escape from this one thanks to that clone. But once again, all it takes is a 1.5 seconds of fighting against CCG, and these members of Pack literally have to go back. They have to get healing back up, and they don't have any gold to purchase items to make the next fight go more in their favor.
Julius with a good evasion of the gank, but it does cost the flash, so that does take away some of the potency from the Zeri in coming fights. Going to be a little while before we have anything major on the map still. Going to be Topo looking towards the top side once again. Big Bear maybe about to fall.
Look at that gold difference. Almost 2,000 for just Rockboom at 13.5 minutes. That number is insane. That's nutty. Yes, a big part of that has to do with the fact that they're about 20 CS up on the opposition. A lot of support though from the rest of the team, and guaranteeing that Rockboom is really picking up these resources is a big reason that they're so far ahead. And that's why we're looking at a 7,000 gold differential here. When we're talking about CS, speaking of CS in the top lane, it's so hard right now for Topo. And speaking of himself, no way. Keeper's Verdict's going to get one of them out. But when it comes to 4 members against 1, you're just not going to be able to win that. However, Rock Boom, in the meantime, has been able to push in the mid lane a little bit. Vex on the bottom side. Now Radar is moving up to continue this engage. Julius throwing out that W to get as much damage down as possible. Kitsuo on to Duwon, who cannot get out and over this wall. Rock Boom is going to be able to pick up that kill. Ket will be the next target. The rocket jump over the wall. Has to flash away, but manages to escape from all the damage and then gets the reset on the rocket jump to get back over the wall to make sure he does not die. Rock Boom with the fancy footing all over the place. And in the meantime, Radar says, oh yeah, that's an easy navigation right here around this piece of wall. Manages to pick up another member. And now this is going to be an inhibitor that should be exposed. Big Fire, the only member up, but no, because of the respawn on Duwon and Cat being available, they're not going to push their luck. They're going to head towards that second Rift Herald.
And we'll see if we're going to get a replay here on that fight as well. But I think that the key moment in that fight was something that I didn't even see the animation of, but I figured out afterwards what happened. I saw Ket trying to reattach, but it got canceled somehow. And then I thought back, what could have possibly happened? It was the buster shot from Rock Boom, disjointing the Uni from the carries, going to be able to find the kill onto the Cat. And once that was down, that was pretty much the signal to go ahead and clean up the rest of the fight. 4 kills coming out in favor of CCG as they continue to push forward aggressively. They're up 9,000 gold, and they're just looking for more.
The plates like just fell a minute and a half ago, and they're up 9,000 gold. This is one of those numbers that is generally unprecedented, right? You see big leads, but you see some comeback ability, and here might even be some more good damage and a higher lead. Final chapter does come out, but it's a polymorph onto Julius, who's going to be able to deal a lot of damage to Rock Boom and gets stopped halfway through that rocket jump. Topo on the backside, looking for the pinch. It's a root onto Radar. It's a flash over the wall, and it's a following flash so that the Cyclone can come out, but it's a polymorph in response. Kitsuo is going to go down. They're trying to provide at least enough space here for Radar to be able to pick that one up, and they do. Topo, in the meantime, is just running circles around the enemy team in an effort to allow the rest of CCG to re-engage on this one, but the kills go where they need them to, and they lose out on 3 members. It's the re-engage by Radar. There it is. Out comes the Shadow Surge. Do it again. Go with the Shadow Surge. It's a flash over the Shadow Surge. They didn't manage to get it, but who picked up the kill on that one? It wasn't Big Bear. It wasn't the Olaf. It was, in fact, the Cat attached to him.
Detro maybe going to try to chase after this. Maybe well advised not to, though. The low health Olaf is always a bait. Not going to go for that one. Drake available now, and the respawn's short enough that I believe that CCG should be able to contest. But a good fight coming through for the side of Pack, able to at least get a little bit of gold back towards the carries, especially the gold going on to Big Bear and Julius is going to be impactful if they want to be able to find a way back into this game. Gold lead down to 7.5k, and whenever it's down to 7.5k, that's always a good sign for the team that's in the lead. But at least Pack is still holding out hope in this game, trying to stay aggressive.
They can try, but you know, I don't know how much success they'll find here at this point. CCG creeping closer and closer to a 10k gold lead. This is going to put them at soul point for the dragon here, and there's nothing, really nothing that Packwatch can do about this. Look, if we're looking at, wow, I can't even look at the numbers down there because it's every time I try to, we end up seeing something like this. It's these little picks that Rock Boom says, yeah, I got it, don't worry, you just kind of keep them distracted. Kitsuo says, perfect, that's my job anyway, and they manage to push it forward to get yet another tower. Not only that, Topo looking for some sort of fight on this as Kitsuo gets the pillar, it pops up Julius, pushes them back towards their tower. Looking maybe for an opportunity here for Topo as we get yet another charge. Is that going to be a third charge? Is the inhib going to take it, get taken halfway down? No, it doesn't come through, but the polymorph goes on to Ophi, who has to flash out of this one. Kitsuo continuing the fight. They're looking to end things right here. The final chapter is going to come out. Kitsuo gets wild growth here. Topo taking a lot of damage. Radar, though, with the re-engage thanks to the Shadow Surge. The Q is going to miss. They still have another charge available. In comes the Cyclone. There's the second pop of it. Kitsuo trying to get onto the backside to get the damage down onto Duwon as they travel underneath their own tower, but the shield by Detro onto himself.
Is this
to
just the
stay
end?
alive, and it's a double kill over to Radar. This should be the end of the game. The only member that we can see available is Ket, who can do absolutely nothing. But unfortunately for CCG, they just can't pressure for the win because they don't have enough minion push. We have to take a look or a replay at that last fight. My goodness, the aggro swap is really something, Tiger, that has been impressing me.
They're going to have a pretty scattered exchange there, but I think that CCG able to toe the line extremely well as we do go back into the replay now. You see right at the start of the play, they're diving under the inhibitor from the get-go, but this play really takes off as soon as Radar starts to go back in, able to find the reset immediately on the Shadow Surge, taking out Big Bear, and then we see Rock Boom just going aggressive in the bot lane matchup. Going to be the dive under the mid tier 1, and they just take the kills one by one. There's good focus and coordination from the side of CCG all the way through the play. If we go back to live, we see that they're going to be able to continue to stay aggressive, looking to find a kill on Imply.
Radar tries to say, hey, look, I'm alone, pick me out. And, you know, they tried to, and instantly LeBlanc says, I can't do that. Shadow Surge is going to miss. It's going to get in between a few members here. Julia's trying to continue this one on the final chapter, gets stalled out. Rock Boom's going to be able to take down Duwan and then flash forward as well as using the rocket jump. Big Bear is the next target, and it's going to be enough damage. It's a double kill when the ADC splits themselves off with a flash to continue the engage. You gotta think that's crazy. And we have just now hit 20 minutes. We have just now hit the point where the Barry can spawn, and no way Rock Boom manages to get the kill on that one. Not a single member of Pack is left up and available, and this is absolutely the end of the game, even without minions. Kitsuo taking this one. He doesn't even care that he goes down to an execute here, and just like that, less than 21 minutes in, CCG reigns supreme and takes the series in a 2-0.
Domination in game number 2 out of CCG. They're able to find success in some of these early plays, and they just chain it so well straight into the victory. They had the level 1 advantages. They just got small leads in all of the different areas of the map. But when you're ahead on every single area of the map, that makes it so much more difficult for the other team to play the game. And once again, we see Kitsuo being the aggressor, being the invader, and that ends up being a lot more successful this time around as CCG able to slam Pack straight into the ground 2-0 fashion.
Not just a 2-0 fashion, but I'm pretty certain the first game, even as well as Pac was doing in the early parts of it, right, as it seems drawn out, I think it was under 30 minutes. This was less than 21-minute game, and the potential for it to be closed out earlier was there, right, if CCG really wanted to push their luck. When you see a game where one team is, you know, I mean, like getting close to a 13, 15,000 gold lead, and it hasn't even gotten to Baron spawn, usually spells the end. And CCG made sure to solidify this win and really mark themselves down as the leader of the pack in this matchup here. So very exciting that CCG was able to turn around that first game. Not only that, but I'm at the point now after casting so many CCG games. I'm like, they've got to be sandbagging the first like 20 minutes. Like they've got to be like, all right, we can't play. Let's cover up one eye or just use one hand for this portion, and then eventually we'll let ourselves loose. Right? It's like Rock Lee's got the weights on for the first big portion, and then they drop them, and the real CCG comes out. So it was a quick series. That means that's going to be the end of the games, but we do still have an interview with one of the members here of the winning team, of course, CCG. So stick around. We're going to take a quick break to get that player up in the call and see if we can get a video chat with them. Either way, we'll be right back here with a winner's interview, so don't go anywhere. Just give us a minute or two. We got the birthday boy. Not really the birthday boy, but we got the birthday boy in here. I got trolled a little bit by CCG. We have a Rock Boom first up. I just got to say congratulations on the quick 2-0.
Thank you. It was a fun one.
Oh, yeah, it was a fun one. It was a fun one to watch. I'm sure it was fun to play. So I'm going to kick things off with just kind of a general question. And you guys, 2-0'd this one, but game number 1 was looking a little scary. I think at one point we were looking like over a 15K differential. So in a situation like that, how the heck do you guys manage to continue to find successes and not allow your mental to boom in a scenario?
Well, honestly, we griefed like a red invade, like we just weren't on the same page,
Uh-huh.
and we all died.
Uh-huh.
And then we griefed a couple other times, and I think the score was like 15-1,
Uh-huh.
and we might have or might have not put up a surrender vote.
No.
And then
No.
the only
Thank
reason
God
we
to
didn't
whoever
surrender,
said no. Are you the one? Did you hold off?
no, I swear to God, the only reason we didn't surrender is because we didn't know the rules.
I see you weren't sure if you could do it or not.
So we're like, fuck it, let's just keep playing.
No way. No way. So you guys would have, if you were certain that surrenders were available, you guys would have FF'd that one?
Well, at least two of us were for sure.
Wow. Wow. All right. Okay. So then I guess the second
But I
part.
don't know if everyone else would.
Okay. And then, so that, going back to the first part of that question, then how did you guys manage to see, I guess, where you could come back? How did those engages work in terms of like shot calling?
Well, there's one window where like Kindred kind of got caught out, and I cashed out on her, and I went from like 500 gold to 2,500 gold. So I literally got 2k gold in like 30 seconds, because then I went bot lane, got like the tower. She was worth like 1k gold, like bounty. And I just got 2k gold. Our mid laner was like smurfing. Like I don't even know how he got so fed, but he just was like 10-0, like 1v9ing fights. I was like, holy shit. And yeah, I really don't know what happened. I just got 2k gold. Our Ari was just piss smurfing team fights. It was like stupid fed. And then we were just better players overall. And then once we got a lead, we're like, okay, like let's take over this game and end it. Because we're overall like a better player, better team. But we just kind of threw the early game. And then once we kind of got the lead, then what was supposed to happen happened.
Yep.
Well, with all of that in mind, we saw that you were able to show that your team comp had the better win conditions and the ability to execute upon it in game number 1. So then when we got to game number 2 and the bans were identical, we had the same first pick, we were a little bit surprised to see that it was CCG that was going to change from the game 1 matchups. What was it that made you decide that you wanted to go towards the Tristana Lulu as opposed to the Draven Nautilus?
Well, like I'm not saying I'm a one trick, but I'm kind of known for my Tristana. And like I played CeeLo and like amateur like the whole year, and she was literally perma-banned against me. I didn't get one Tristana game. I think I got 2 Tristana games the entire year. The other times she was like literally banned like every single game. So I never really get to play her a lot, and it kind of makes me sad because like I love Tristana. She's like my most played champ. And so I've been kind of like with the new items and stuff, and in the meta, I feel like she's in a pretty good spot. Like I wouldn't say she's broken or anything, but like in a good windows, like she's good. And I've always really liked Tristana into Zeri. So when they first picked the Zeri, we practiced this yesterday in our scrims too. We kind of had 2 answers to Zeri. Like one was like Draven, like a Draven answer, and then the next one was kind of this, which is where we take the Tristana, we take the Lulu, and then Zeri loses her Lulu, and then she's forced to go Yumi. But then in my eyes, Tristana Lulu just wins lane, wins team fights, and then takes over the map. So it kind of hard counters their matchup. So I just really like Tristana. I'm very good on her, and Tristana Lulu is also one of my favorite combos in general with Tristana, because like you saw, like I'm just Goomba stomping kids. Like I got a Lulu with me. I just jumping around. I don't care at all. So
the resets were something special. The resets were something really. There were like probably 5 to 7 times where you were this close to dying, and the reset happened at the perfect moment, and you managed to jump back over a wall, re-engage into the fight. Right? It was a sight to behold. So we'd love to see more of the Tristana come out on you, but I have to ask as well, just in terms of you guys at CCG, we talked about week number 1, right? Because this is week 3. Last week, you guys found a 2-0 against Redacted. That was pretty quick. And then the week before, you guys actually got 0-2. So what's the dynamic been in terms of like where you guys feel you're at, or where you feel your progress is going, and how that's been working out behind the scenes?
Well, like the first week, we literally just like went into things. We made like a roster last minute and just played. So yeah, we made that roster last minute. So we didn't really have a lot of practice or experience with each other. So we kind of just went into a league. Didn't really click that day. Like I think Detro, like Actually, no, Dietrich didn't even play. Like we didn't have Dietrich either. Me and him had a lot of good connections, but we just didn't click that day. It was just an off day, and then
That day, wait, that day was that the first time you guys played together?
oh yeah, that was the first week. That was the first week. Yeah, sorry,
Like,
sorry.
Yeah, so you guys didn't even get the chance to like scrim or anything before that though.
Yeah, we also have like two people in each role, so we're kind of like switching things up a bit. So it's not
Cool.
like a huge like chemistry building situation here, right?
Yeah,
Which
so I
is
didn't
fine,
check
but like then after week 1, we kind of scrimmed with a certain roster, and then we practiced a bit, and then week 2 went better. Honestly, we just built up chemistry a bit. But we have been kind of swapping in players here and there. Like it was like today was our first time playing with that jungler Kizno.
Yeah.
So
Kitsuo? Yeah.
or Kitsuo, I said it wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. It's hard to replace Hyphy, but if somebody's gonna do it, Kitsuo's good. Kitsuo's great.
Yeah, they're both really good. They do their job very well.
hmm
And I wouldn't really say there's like a big like level up in us. It's just I think we're just good players. We're just better players, and it's just we have more experience than these guys, and it's just showing. I'm excited to see how this league like rolls out. Like once we kind of get a sticked roster, and we just stick with that, and then kind of practice. I want to see like how we go into playoffs, because right now I feel like once we go into playoffs, like, I think that's in like 6 weeks. This league's long. Like we can go into playoffs, and that's kind of what we'll see. Like, oh, did we actually improve as a team, or how did we go? Or we're just subbing in and out. So I'm excited to see when that comes.
All right. And speaking of what's coming up, are there any opponents that you're looking out for that you're excited to play, or that you might feel like you have a specific advantage or disadvantage against?
I'm not really scared of anyone. I think I could beat. I think I beat anyone. Like I'll be literally. Just name anyone. I don't know whoever the best ADC on paper is in this league. Send them my way. I'll shit on them.
I love it.
That's all I needed to hear, Rock Boom. Fantastic stuff from you today.
Excuse me. All right, I got one last question. One last real quick question, just because I want to kind of know the dynamic during gameplay and stuff. It seems like you guys are all pretty vocal back there. Do you have a like a primary shot caller? Is everybody just kind of shouting over each other? Is there one person that you kind of rely on, I guess, when it comes to making these calls?
Well, I wouldn't say we have like a shot caller. I say we all kind of tell each other what we want and decide. And then like in bot lane, it's like I'm like calling for all this stuff, and I'm like playing like a psycho, and the teacher's like chill out, bro, like chill out. Yeah, you don't need to fight here. You can play safe, and then at least that's how the early game goes. And then kind of to the mid and late game, it's kind of like we figure out what we want to play for. So like say we want to play for top tower, then we'll kind of be like, okay, we want to play for top tower, and then we'll say like, okay, how do we want to do that? There's like go through mid lane. I'd say one thing that I've improved on a lot this year was like my like macro understanding of like how to play through mid wave into other lanes. I was kind of quiet today because I was pretty tired, but like our last week's match, I was pretty vocal on it. But just like making sure like everyone's on mid wave and just playing for mid wave so you can build upon the map. Because if you don't have mid wave control, then you don't even that's the basics of macro, and then you're not even playing macro correctly to start off with. So I wouldn't say there's like a big shot call. It's just we have an idea how to play the game correctly, and we kind of do it together. And I just say, come to mid lane, come to mid wave. I need you guys so I don't die, and so you can push.
Well, and I'm sure you're pretty comfortable with Radar there in the mid lane.
Yeah,
like you said, you guys are all incredible players separately, so it's really cool to see that how quickly that cohesion has come through with you. Thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with us. Congratulations. Happy not birthday. I'm really excited to see where CCG goes in the future, and hopefully we will get to sit down and talk with you another time after one of these games when you guys pop off again. So thank you. Congrats on today's games, and we're looking forward to seeing more of you, Rock Boom.
All right, thank you.
Awesome.
Have a good one.
Nice guy. Nice guy. I love talking to the players after a big win like that. And we always talk about who our MVP, right, is going to be. And we didn't actually really discuss it before we do the interview. We want to see who is up for the interview. Rockboom was pretty excited about this though, so it's funny that he had not a lot of energy earlier, and now it seems like he's all riled up. But I think Tiger, we kind of agreed on who our MVP this week was in terms of both of the games that we saw in the overall series, and it's pretty reminiscent of last week's MVP.
Yep, definitely feeling good about how Radar played today. I think the whole team worked together pretty well. It definitely required the entire 5-man group, but Radar stood out as the biggest carry, going 12 or 11 2 and 1 in game number 1, and then 7 1 and 6 in game number 2. Both times having some major plays, some big flashy plays as well. Great movement on those reset carries. But I think that as far as that goes, Radar definitely the most valuable of the players. Looking forward to seeing more of that from him in the coming weeks.
Oh yeah, this was such an incredible set of games, and I especially like that we did actually get to see a little bit of a mix up in some of these picks. Right, when we're talking mid and the bottom lane, there were 3 different champs in there for both games, and that top consistency is good, but my goodness, the carries carried. And if you want a team that's going to do well, you need consistent carries, and I gotta say Radar and Rockboom, at the end of the day, yeah, I think because of the positioning from Radar, we both were pretty much like, all right, it's got to be Radar, right? Especially the score line. But consistency is just as equally there for Rockboom. And because that bottom lane was playing so far behind in the early parts of the game, it gives me a little bit more props as well. And, I can't also cannot give enough props to D-Troll, because the amount of recognition of taking the front line, saying, okay, I have to sacrifice myself for this fight, but I have to put down a little bit of crowd control. I have to essentially layer something down before I go down. He was able to execute all of that really well. So props to the entire team. Same Topo and Kitsuo, of course. I've gotten to cast them before plenty. I've gotten to talk to them before, so I don't need to. They know they've already got props from me, but what a fun series to watch. And Tiger, I'm really glad that we got to work together. It was an absolute blast. You did a fantastic job, and I hope we get to do this some more in the future.
Yeah, likewise to you. Definitely appreciate being brought on today. Thank you to CCG and to Jolly, Gurf, and Blaze for putting on a fantastic show for us tonight.
Absolutely. Always huge props. I always shout out Gurf. We had Blaze on the backside too, who was running the replays, did an incredible job with that. There was a lot going on in the game. So that makes it, when you're talking about a 20-minute game where we actually get good multiple replays, that is hard to do any day of the week, even if you are a pro. So excellent job, and big props to our production. And then, of course, I do have to call out Kelda, who is incredible, making these graphics, doing all of, the UI kind of setup that you see here that is established and looks incredibly professional. Big ups to her. And again, apologies. I accidentally, unintentionally gave her a job by joking about giving her an extra job, but you know what? That means we got graphics now. We got graphics. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, look at that. That's so sick. So we got graphics now. I really appreciate it. I last, a few days ago, I was like, I just accidentally gave somebody a job because I want these images for the next time. And literally that same night, she's like, here you go. I got them for you. I knew you were joking, but it's something that is helpful, and it just adds so much to the CCG broadcast. I love to be here. Thank you guys so much for having me. But that is going to do it for today's broadcast. It was a nice, quick, and easy one, something that we're probably going to have to get used to seeing here for the Aegis Championship League. This was, again, week number 3. So currently CCG is sitting at 2-1 out of a total of 6 games. They have won 4 and lost 2. So things are looking on the up and up, and expect to see more and more of CCG kicking butt on the Rift. That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in as well, everybody who was out there and, keeping the chat alive. We appreciate the heck out of you. And until next time, I've been Jolly. I got Tiger that side. I got Tiger with me this side. Have a good one, guys.